This is your foundations for your third trimester. So I'm back with Meg, who is now well and truly firmly in her third trimester at 36 weeks with her third baby. And she's going to run through the exercises with me. So to start with, we're going to be in standing and you're going to need a ball between your knees. So you want to find a wall where you can rest your back firmly into the wall with the ball between your knees. And we're going to come and try and rest our whole body up against the wall, including our arms. And this resets your center of gravity. So everything's moving really far forwards. We're going to try and bring things back into the wall. So with your shoulder blades resting against the wall, your head on the wall, your arms on the wall, try some pelvic tilts to me. That's moving through your pelvis. There's an axis running straight through the top of your hips. And what you're going to try and do is tuck your tailbone underneath you. Feel baby move up and in towards you. Bum cheeks come off the wall. And then roll the opposite way. Your bum comes onto the wall, your back lifts off the wall, there becomes a little gap there. You want to try and get into this position without your head and neck lifting off the wall. So when you're doing pelvic tilts, it's just pelvic tilts. The rest of your body stays still. Looks good, Meg. And then what we're going to do is find a neutral position. So we're not too arched off the wall, we're not too squished in, somewhere where our ideal is to rest. In the middle, we're going to hold it there. Then you're going to squeeze that ball between your knees and we do our first pelvic floor contraction of the day. Imagine that there's a handkerchief underneath your body and you're going to lift that handkerchief inside your body on your out breath. You're going to hold it with a ball squeeze and just breathe. Hold it here and breathe. 3, 2, 1. Lower the handkerchief down, spread all 4 corners out and release the ball squeeze. And again, 3 of these. Ball squeeze, maybe this time imagining elevator doors shutting underneath the base of your body. Pull the elevator up and inside and hold it here. Keep everything still as you try and engage that lift and just gently breathe into the top of your chest. 3, 2, 1. Release, let it come down, open the doors. And one more time. We're going to squeeze the ball. You're going to give me a pelvic floor contraction, and then I want you to imagine a zipper running up the front of your body, like that in a really tall waisted pair of jeans. Zip up that zipper, run it up to your belly button, past your belly button to your chest. Keep that zipper lifted as you hold and breathe. 3, 2, 1, release, come all the way back down. Now we're going to come into some overhead arms with that lift. You're going to ball squeeze, you're going to lift through the pelvic floor and the arms are going to come up and over your head. Breathe in, lower your arms down, lower your pelvic floor and that bump lift. It's almost as though you've got that lift in your hands and you're lifting all as one, releasing it all together. Breathing out to come up, breathing in, come down. And then I just want you to be aware of the weight between your body and the wall. I don't want your back to lift off the wall as we go through this. Keep the pressure exactly the same, even across both shoulders, making sure the back doesn't lift off too much as you go. Last one. Out breath, lift, ball squeeze. In breath, lower, arms come down. Now we're going to move from the base of the body again. I want you to squeeze the ball, tuck your bottom underneath you so your back presses into the wall. And like a little ratchet, you're going to peel your body up off the wall until you just have your head and shoulders up on the wall. Nice, Meg. And then as you come down, you're going to work through the top of your body, pressing your ribs down into the wall, all the way down, lower back, bottom, tip your pelvis forwards. Go again, tuck under your tailbone, peel your back up off the wall, 1 vertebra at a time, until you're lifted up and onto your shoulders. And then come all the way back down. So if you're used to doing Pilates before you were pregnant, you'll recognize this as a shoulder bridge. Now we're not lying on our backs anymore. This is a really nice way to get that articulation and the strength in the back without risking having to lie on our backs on the floor. And actually it's a little bit more active overall, right? Yeah. One more bridge on its own, all the way up, all the way down. And then we bring in the arms. Tucking tailbone underneath us, arms come up as our back lifts up and release it all the way back, rolling through the spine, tipping forwards at the bottom. And again, tuck under, curling up, arms come up, arms come down, back comes down. Finish that tilt. Not forgetting to squeeze the ball and to lift our pelvic floor simultaneously with our arms.
There's a lot to think about with this one.
Always with Pilates, it's that combination, hey? And just remember, this is resetting your everyday posture so you don't have to think about it when you're not against the wall. It's going to strengthen you back into the middle. This is our last one. And then reset your neutral for me. Find a position halfway between the two. Maybe drop a little bit deeper into your legs so you can feel those thighs come on a little bit more. Squeeze the ball, and now we're going to come into hundreds. Your arms are going to be down by your side, and you're going to do small little pulses at your waist. If you want to make this a little bit harder, the pulses can be here. But your watch points are no bobbing and rocking through the rest of your body, pelvic floor or tummy staying on, and that ball staying squeezed. Again, a lot to think about. As always with hundreds, it's just arm pulses. And the idea is, as we fluctuate the arms, you maintain a solid, secure contraction through the middle. It's almost like you've just put baby in a corset, right? You wrap your muscles around baby and you hold it there, regardless of what's going on through the rest of the body. You're going to breathe in for 5 and out for 5. And hundreds is called such because there's 100 of these guys or thereabouts. And we're moving into our last 20 now. In the last 10, breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Pushing yourself up away from the wall, you're going to pop your ball down, and we're going to come into some stretches using the wall as our prop. So side onto the wall, you're going to bring your feet together, and you're going to bring your arm out straight. The furthest arm away is going to come up and overhead as you make yourself a banana shape. So it's a big curve down through your body. Come all the way up and out. Then you're going to thread this arm underneath, twisting down and through. Up and out. Once overhead, swaying your hips to one side. And then once with a twist. You breathe into here. Breathe out as you go over, like you're squishing all the air out with the movement. Breathe in, fill back up into that space. Breathe out, twist. Breathe in, back up into that space. Once more in each direction. Last. And turn to face the other way. So when you're facing the other way, same thing, bring your feet together, and you really want to work on that sway of your hips over as you bring your arm up and overhead. Brilliant. Breathe in, fill up into that space that you've just created. Breathe out, twist through. Breathe in, up and open. And the whole while, squeezing those legs together, so there's a little something something going on through the middle of your body. Nice. And just find the end of your range. You're doing really good, Meg. Feeling like that sway to me. Press away from the wall. And that wrap underneath. And that open back out. Just once more in each direction. Push your hips to the side. Last twist. Open all the way back out. So now we're going to make our way down onto the mat into an all fours position. So on your hands and knees, you want your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Now in this trimester, if you're getting any wrist pain, you don't want to load it through here too much. So come up onto your wrists instead. Or like Meg, she's got a modification. She has her elbows up on a box. And you can use the edge of your sofa or a chair. But it's really important, wherever you are, there's a straight line through the upper part of your arm. And then we're going to start with the upper body. Move your two shoulder blades away from one another, lifting your breastbone up. And then think about pinching your shoulder blades together, letting your breastbone come down towards the mat. Breathe out, shoulder blades move apart from one another. Breathe in, breastbone comes down. You want to make sure your neck is long, so the crown of your head is pointing away from you. And just keep your elbows straight, so you're not doing press-ups here. You're more working on your upper back posture, preventing any rounded shoulders. Now on the next one, with your breastbone lifted, hold it here. We're going to come into arm reaches, reaching your left arm forwards down, alternate sides, right arm forwards, down, and keep flowing from one to the other, the whole while thinking about keeping the rest of your body as still as can be. One trick to keeping it still is that baby hug we've been working on. Imagine those muscles which wrap around baby. Tighten those muscles to give your baby a hug and feel baby literally lift up and in towards you. Nice, Meg, I see that lift. And you're just going to maintain that hug all the way through this all fours position. Hold the next one with your left arm out straight. Extend this arm round to the side like you're swimming through water. Reach it all the way down by your side, then place your hand back underneath your shoulder. Right side, reach your hand forwards, swim through the water, bring it all the way down by your side and place your hand underneath your shoulder. Alternate sides, trying to maintain that hug of your tummy muscles whilst the whole while having a flat back position. So you don't want to be too rounded up towards the sky. Think about your best posture, the longest spine you can create. And this all fours position is so good in your third trimester. It allows baby to just have space. So if your baby's sitting in a breech position, you can't spend too much time on all fours. It's the best position to help baby churn. And we're going to do one more like that in each side. Last to the right. Pause here with your chest lifted, and we're going to bring it into the legs. So just the legs on their own to begin with. Extend through your left leg, reach and point through your toes, and then squeeze that leg back and underneath you. And the opposite side, reach and lengthen away, squeeze all the way back in. So you want to have a think about your whole body. So I'm checking that Meg has got a straight line from her ear, through her shoulder, into her hip. It's one straight line. I could rest a tray of nice drinks across Meg's back and hopefully not spill a drop. And again, the trick to keeping still is that foundation through the middle. That little baby hug or pelvic floor if it's easier for you to find here. And then we're going to bring back in the arms. So as my left leg goes straight, the right arm reaches away. Lengthen, lengthen, reach. Bring your arm and leg back down. Other side, lengthen, reach, 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 reach. And back down. Give me an out breath. Lengthen away. As you breathe out, your diaphragm moves up. More chance of your pelvic floor following. This should be a challenge on your balance and control. I want your arms to start to tire. They're carrying your weight here. Concentrate on no shift from side to side. So last one, I'm going to get you to lengthen your left leg, right arm away, and we're going to hold it here. Reach through your fingertip, reach through your toe. Lift that leg a tiny bit higher for me, Meg. Squeezing through your bottom. Now, focus on the middle position. I want you to create a space underneath you for me to come crawling through. Press your hand down into the ground. Lift your body up a little bit more so there's space for me to come underneath you. Lengthen through your fingertips and leg again and tuck your chin, look straight down. You're just going to hold it here as still as you can. So you've got that pressure down through your hand and knee, creating that strength through the torso. You're going to hold and breathe. 3, 2, 1. All the way back down, steady transition, other side. For the last time, lengthen through your fingertips, stretch through your toe, lift your chest, tuck your chin, look straight down. Give that baby a little hug so there's space for me to move underneath you, creating a little tunnel for us to crawl through. Lift your chest again, lengthen, reach again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your hand all the way back down to the mat. I want you to open up your knees, sink your bottom down in between your heels. Bring your forehead down onto your hands and just stretch and change the shape through your lower back. You can cross your hands underneath your head, or like Meg, leave your arms up out in front of you. So you get this extra length and stretch through your lats, allows your bottom to sit all the way back down, and just reverses the shape through your spine. And then from here, we're going to come back up into our standing for our second leg series. And now we're back up in standing. I want you to remember the posture that you set yourself up with when you're on the wall. We're going to find that posture again. You need your mini loop around your legs. And if you don't have a mini loop, tie your band around your legs, just as a little bit of resistance to push out into. Press all of your feet down into the floor. So your toes, the balls of your foot, your heels, try and make contact with the whole of your foot. And then grow tall through the crown of your head as though it's full of helium lifting up towards the sky. Now you're going to take your right arm up and your left heel is going to lift up off the floor. And then bring your heel down and your arm down at the same time. A breath out to lift, a breath in to lower. And you're just going to alternate. And what I'm watching for is that as you move, as though you're still against the wall, nothing lifts, nothing changes through your back. Imagine you can sense that wall behind your head, behind your shoulders, behind your bum. And you keep connected to the wall as you come into your arm and leg floats, alternating sides. The other thing that I'm watching Meg really closely for, and in myself, is as you bring the weight onto the one side and off the other side, make sure that hip doesn't give up. Squeeze the bottom on that side and keep that bottom engaged. Use your out breath to raise, in breath lower. Let's do one more each side. And on stand by your side. Hold your pelvis with your hands, and that's going to help you make sure that you don't overarch or over tuck. Try and stay somewhere in the middle. And then we're going to come back into the both legs now. Heels lift up and down. Start with that for me, just a pure heel lift. I've got a soft bend in the knees and I'm making sure I press out into the band. We're going to challenge our balance. But not only this, when we're in our third trimester, the amount of blood volume in our body goes up hugely. You might start to notice you're puffy in your hands and feet. And all of these small movements through the lower body is a really good way when you're standing still to stop that from pooling and happening. Try and always add a little bit of movement in. Now on the next one, we're going to rise up. You're going to bend your knees and imagine sliding your head down that imaginary wall. From here, lower your heels. It's fine to tip forwards. And then straighten your legs, stand up tall. Heel raise. Slide down the wall, lower your heels, stand up tall. And again, lift, slide, lower, press up to stand. Now I'm really starting to feel the work that I need to make out into that band. That's coming from the bottom. Those muscles which keep your pelvis closed and strong to carry the weight of your baby, we're working into those now. Notice if your knees want to go in and give each other a kiss. Stop that from happening. Press them slightly open. And on the next one, we're going to reverse that movement. So we're going to stay down with our heels down. From there, we're going to lift our heels up. You're going to straighten your legs, challenge your balance, and drop your heels down. Slide down, lift your heels, press to stand, heels down. And keep working through that sequence. As long as you keep thinking about that posture, the alignment through your pelvis, then your deep tummy has a great chance of coming on. But if you're not sure that you can feel anything through the middle, I want you to think about a pelvic floor contraction from the bottom here as you rise up. So your pelvic floor contraction should follow your lift. And just one more little sequence before we take it down into our squat with our heels down and our arms down by our side. We're going to come into our little 100 sequence here again. One of my favourite exercises in this third trimester when everything is moving so much, just to create stillness through the middle of your body. So sideways on, bump's going to want to pull you down. I want you to lift through bump. Nice, Meg. Slide your tailbone down a little bit. So you come into almost like a little tuck from here. Perfect. Keep your body still and you're looking straight ahead of you. So try not to look forwards. It's like you've got a tennis ball underneath your chin. Let's press out into that band a little bit more so you get a little bit more fire through the glutes. Breath in for 5. Breath out for 5. Give baby one last hug up in towards you for our last 20. Last 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, press to stand. Nice one. So now we're going to come down into side lying. We've got a little bit more glute work and some inner thigh work. So setting you up in side lying, you can see I've got Meg in the position already. I want you to have enough of a cushion underneath your head so that your neck is in a straight line with your spine, not dropped down into the floor, lifted too far. Now baby's growing, you're going to need a little cushion or a folded towel underneath bump so that baby doesn't squish you down into the mat. Just create a little lift for baby there. Your top leg bent out in front, rested on a ball. Bottom leg, reach it out straight, even more, Meg, so that whole waist comes on and the inner thigh starts to work. Your arms are out in front of you for arm opening to begin with here. Reach your top hand forwards, then trace a straight line across the sky as you bring it open into your arm open sequence. And then fold it all the way back around in a straight line. So opening up that top arm, reaching all the way away, feel that stretch through your chest and then close that book straight back down. Something I'm watching on Meg is that her knee doesn't slide off the ball as she goes. I want you to push your knee into the ball to create that little protection through your lower belly, that little bump lift so your core is on and active all the way through. Okay, so we're going to keep that going. I want you to take a big breath in as your arm comes open and a breath out as you close your arms. On the next one, reach through your fingertips, big breath in as you wide open. I'm pressing my top knee down into the ball, breath out to close. One more in a straight line, and then we're going to take that a little bit bigger. On the next one, you're going to take this into level 2. You take the arm all the way up, you lengthen it away from you, you draw a nice, big, exaggerated circle, dropping that hand down towards your feet, across your hip, forwards to close your hands. Reaching your fingertips forward, stretching up and overhead, arm all the way back behind you, brush past the top of your hip, reach your fingertips forwards, reset, go again. So then bring your focus back down to the lower part of your body. I want that top knee pressed down into the ball and reach and stretch that bottom leg away from you the whole while. So the lower body stays still and you allow this open twist to happen. So good for making sure that your head, neck and shoulders stay over the top of your pelvis and you don't end up slouching forwards or compromising on your posture. Now baby's growing so quickly. And the last one, all the way up and over, stretching as far as you can, bring it all the way down, hands come together. Now rest your arms wherever's comfortable here. We're going to work on the lower body. On your next out breath, you're going to scoop through the pelvic floor, you're going to squeeze your inside thigh, bottom leg comes up off the mat. Breathe in, lower that leg to the ground. Breathe out, pelvic floor, lower leg lift, breath in, bring it all the way back down. So breathe out, lift the lower leg. Breath in, lower. Breathe out, scoop and lift. All right, so I'm having to watch how far I lift my leg. I could probably lift it a little bit higher, but then with that, I squash my waist down into the floor. So I'm going to keep the torso completely still, making sure baby or waist don't sink down into the mat. And I work on a pure inner thigh lift. Leg is the only thing that's lifting up off the ground and moving. So here we've got some quicker fire pulses through your pelvic floor too. Pelvic floor on, pelvic floor off. Breath out, breath in. Last 4. 2. And as you lower from this last one, I want you to really reach that leg away from you and rest it down on the mat. Top leg comes into it now. Dig your toes into the floor, open your top knee up, roll your knee back down into the mat, squishing into the ball. Breathe out, roll open, breath in to close, push back down into the ball. So you're twisting your hip in the socket. You're getting all of those glutes which wrap from your hip round to your back working. And those glute muscles are your next door neighbours to your pelvic floor. So you may well get a natural little lift going on there. And I just want you to think about your range. How far open can I lift that knee? And closing it all the way back down. Again, the rest of your body shouldn't move, so the imprint you make on the mat should stay the same. And our last one, we're going to take it into a hold. Roll open from here. See if you can ground your foot on the floor, and you're going to hold it. We're going to add in a pelvic floor contraction. Think about that handkerchief cue. Gather all four corners together and lift the handkerchief through the middle of your body as you hold this position. Stretching the bottom leg away, hold and breathe. 3, 2, 1. Lower your leg all the way back down. 2 more. Take a moment to check your waist hasn't given out. Lift your knee back up. Keep baby lifted up away from the mat. Hold it here. Maybe try an elevator pelvic floor contraction now. Lifting to the top and hold and breathe. Keep that top knee pressed open. Stretch away the bottom leg. 3, 2, 1. Release back down. And again, pressing your toes into the floor, rolling open onto the sole of your foot. Maybe thinking about that zipper now that runs from your tailbone underneath you through the whole pelvic floor and up the lower belly like a pair of jeans. And hold that zipper up and on. Hold and breathe for 3, 2, 1, and release all the way back down. And now on our transition onto the other side, we're going to take it over onto our hands and knees. So pressing up onto your hands and knees, we're just going to take it into a few cat circles to stretch out after keeping our body still for a little while. So what we're going to do from here, Meg, is take our hips round to the left, push our bottoms back over our feet, bring our bottom over to the right, and then scoop it all the way back through. So we're taking our hips in nice big circles, allowing the pelvis, the pelvic floor, the back and belly to move. Strong muscles are muscles which can both contract and stretch and relax. And that's what we're going to encourage here. And then reverse directions for me. Out to the right, stick your bottom out, scoop it across to the left, up and in. And again, nice big circles round. Making sure the weight's back over your knees and not so much in your hands. Last one. Before we make our way onto our opposite side. Okay, so don't forget to bring all your props with you as you change sides. Baby bump cushion, ball for your top leg, cushions for your head. Bringing that top leg down onto the ball. And so your hip and your knee should be at right angles when you've got that knee on the ball. And enough cushions to keep your neck in a straight line on top of your spine. And we're going to come into the arm opening on this side. Level 1, straight line first. Reach through your fingertips. Wrap your arm open. Take it all the way back behind you on your in-breath. Breathe out, shut it all the way back down. A nice big stretch and reach and open. Out breath as you close. So remember that little cushion to keep your waist lifted, or just work through your tummy to keep your waist up away from the floor. And that pressure down into the ball the whole while to stop that top hip from sliding back. You want to use that to keep your lower body still. So this just comes into an upper body stretch, a nice spine twist. As you twist through your spine, you get that mobility, but also that strength to keep you upright. So when your chest is open, your head and neck falls back on top of your spine. Your pelvis comes to sit in the middle position, and you're less likely to start getting any back pain. Now let's take it into level 2. That arm is going to reach forwards, take your arm all the way up and overhead, roll open through your chest, circle the arm all the way back down, close your 2 hands together. Again, reach forwards, arm comes up and over you, all the way behind, and circle down. That little pressure of your top knee down into the floor to stabilize the lower body. And one last one. Finishing in a comfortable position for your upper body as we take it down into the inside thigh. On your next out breath, that lower leg is going to lift up away from the floor. Breath in and lower it down. So an out breath, and as you lift that leg, you're going to summon up a little bit through your pelvic floor. So these are quicker contractions. I don't want you to hold them, I just want you to try and find a lift and a lower. And as you bring on these quicker contractions, make sure there's still a 1-2 going on through your pelvic floor. So you want to get a squeeze and a lift, a lower release. Squeeze and lift, lower release. Often we miss out that second bit, but that second bit is really vital, especially when we've got the weight of our baby on our pelvic floor. And last one, use your out breath, lift, lower all the way back down. Straight into clam on that top leg, wrapping open your top knee, rolling from your hip, pressing down into the ball. So it's almost like you're screwing your thigh bone into the socket. Your pelvis shouldn't move. You still want your bottom waist lifted, that bottom leg stretching down straight. And you're just turning that hip in the socket, trying to get as much height in that leg as possible, wrapping open, seeing your inside thigh. Make sure the glute's working. You're almost squeezing your hip bone round to meet your tail. So you've got that strength in the seat. In 2, we're going to hold it for our first 10-second hold. On this next one, I wonder if you can give me a pelvic floor contraction on top here. Thinking about that handkerchief lift underneath you as you maintain that pressure into the floor and that twist through the hip. Don't forget to breathe. 3, 2, 1, relax all the way back down. And again, twist open through the hip, press your foot into the floor. What about the elevator lift now? Doors closing, feel that lift through the middle of your body. Hold that elevator up as you pause and breathe. 3, 2, 1, relax down, open the doors. And one last one, pressing that foot into the floor, wrapping the knee open, maybe thinking about that zipper cue from your tail up to your belly button. We hold and breathe here. 3, 2, 1, and release, wrap that knee all the way back down. And finish by making your way up onto your hands and knees. So our last little stretch here. So from your hands and knees, we're going to take it into a puppy dog stretch. So you want to cross your arms down in front of you and see if you can rest your forehead down on your forearms. And then you're going to take your tail out towards the sky. You might even want to step your knees wider here. And maybe take your feet off the edge of the mat so the seat gets a really deep stretch. And just practice swaying the weight back, letting baby come down. And I want you to imagine here that pelvic diamond, the one that runs from your pubic bone at the front, tailbone at the back, hip bone, hip bone. Those 4 points want to stretch away from themselves here. So you're gapping that pelvic diamond. In this 3rd trimester, we're gearing up to birth and descent for baby down into the pelvis. So creating a little bit of space there. As you hold it here and breathe, your breath will move your pelvic floor. As you expand and breathe in, diaphragm expands and stretches, so does pelvic floor. As you breathe out, it all recoils and shrinks back in. So spend as much time as you need to here to relax and down train the pelvic floor. And we're going to keep working on these exercises all the way through your 3rd trimester to maintain that strength and stretch, not only for the pregnancy, but for your birth and your postnatal recovery. So that wraps up your foundations class for your 3rd trimester.